This is Libby from Mobile Developer Solutions. I'll be demonstrating how to create, edit, and launch a new PhoneGap for Android project using the AppLaud Eclipse Plugin for PhoneGap on Android. I've already installed the plugin and have restarted Eclipse in a fresh workspace. I'll go right to the workbench, and now I can see that my installation of the plugin succeeded. I've got the AppLaud Project Creation Wizard icon in my toolbar. I'll click there to get started. So PhoneGap version 1.4.1 is where we're currently at. This will be automatically included in the project unless I want to use an alternate version of PhoneGap, in which case I select this option and browse to the location of where I've downloaded that version of PhoneGap. Today we'll stick with the built-in version. Next, I can include jQuery Mobile. We're currently at version 1.0.1, or if I want to use a different version, I simply use the other option and locate the directory to where I've downloaded that on my computer. I can also include Sencha Touch. That would require a separate download, and I would browse there if I wanted to include it. For project contents, I can use the PhoneGap API example, which is a complete project demonstrating all 13 of the PhoneGap APIs. I could also create a minimal PhoneGap project, which would just have an indexed HTML file and, of course, all the PhoneGap support needed. Or if I had an existing project, I could create a new project from that source. I would browse to the directory where my indexed HTML file is, and all of the contents of that directory would be copied into the new project. Today we'll take a look at the basic PhoneGap API demo. Moving to the next window, I enter my project name. I'll leave the rest of the options as is, so my project will be created in my current workspace. Hit Next, and hit Next again, as we'll be coming back to that window. The next field is my application name. My project name has been auto-filled in, but I can change the app name to be whatever I want. For example, My App. This is the name that will show up on the device launch screen, and you can have spaces in the name. I'll enter my package, and I'll leave the activity name as is. The next step is to select the minimum SDK supported. So if you wanted your app to run on all Android devices, starting with Android 2.1 and up, select API level 7, which is for Android 2.1. Now we have one more step, which means I'll go back to the previous screen, and I'll select the highest level of support for Android that my current installation has, which is API level 15 here, and that will support all Android devices up to and including 4.0.3. PhoneGap supports doing builds this way. Now I click Finish to start the project creation. It's going to populate the directory, open indexed HTML in the editor, and shift the Eclipse perspective to JavaScript. I'll also point out that in my project source directory, I have my Java files under source, the Android libraries, PhoneGap libraries in PhoneGap.jar, and my assets www directory has been opened. I can see the full source for this PhoneGap API Demo project. Here's my PhoneGap JavaScript, my index, some CSS, and we've put all of the JavaScript for each API into a directory called APIs. PhoneGap developers also need to know where the res/xml directory is. That includes the PhoneGap XML file and the plugin's XML file. If I wanted to edit anything, an automatic build would go on behind the scenes after I save the files, so there's no build step to this process. At this point, the PhoneGap API Demo is ready to run. The best way to start running a project on a device would be to select it under the Project Explorer, right-click, and select Run as Android Application. Before I do that, I'd like to add one more thing to Eclipse, which is very useful, and that will be selecting Window, Show View, Console. So down here I can see that my console view has shown up in this window. I should mention too that I've already launched an Android virtual device, so that's ready to go too. I'll right-click on my project, run as an Android application, and I'll take a look in the console to see what's going on. It's installing my project, and now I can see it on the virtual device. It's been installed and run, and here's the demo. We'll take a look at one of the APIs. Scrolling through the list, I'll move down to the Device API. Now, of course, this is a virtual device, but it's reporting everything I might want to know about this, including the OS version, which happens to be Android 2.3.3. Thanks for using AppLaud. If you have any questions or problems, please join us on the AppLaud forum. Thank you very much. Bye.